Hey guys, it's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe, and I wanted to talk about the 1983 film Master of the World. It's also known as, I want to say aka Conqueror of the World, and I watched it originally on YouTube with the Italian title, which was totally different, and it was very blurry, and I couldn't really focus, and I watched it, did a horrible, scathing review on the film, and then said, you know what, there's certain movies that I feel like you really have to watch them in better quality, even though this is a 1983 low-budget film, and I feel like I didn't really give it a fair shake. So, excuse me, I went on eBay, and someone was selling this for $15 with free shipping. It had a bunch of watchers, and I was like, you know what, I'll give you 12, because I know it's terrible. And he goes, will you do 13? He goes, it's worth 13 bucks. He goes, I don't even know what happened in the movie. I got really stoned and really drunk, and I watched the movie and totally like zoned out and felt like I was in Caveman times, and it's great atmosphere, 13 bucks or whatever. And I was like, deal. So $13 with free shipping later, Master of the World is mine. And I just finished rewatching it a moment ago, so here is my second take on a review. So Master of the World kind of follows the caveman exploitation film of, what's it called? Something with Fire. It was a very popular 80s movie about cavemen. This, I didn't see it, but this movie is very different than what Vinegar Syndrome normally puts out. This is the Blu-Ray by Vinegar Syndrome. It has this really nice artwork. The inside has some really nice artwork. This almost looks kind of like Frank Frazetta-ish, which is cool. The inside isn't actually a flip cover, it's just more art, so you can't flip the cover around because there's no title. But there's just some extra artwork in there. It's made from an Italian guy named Alberto Cavallone, and it's got bits and pieces of cool shit, and then the rest of the movie is sort of dull. So because there's no speaking in the film, and it's cavemen, and there's lots of grunting, there's lots of cavemen fighting each other, grunting, making noises, and it's a little hard to follow at points. So initially I was very engaged, I followed a lot of it, and then about halfway through I started losing it again, and then I picked it up again. But it's a little difficult to differentiate some of the characters in the film because they look very similar. There's nothing in the story that, you know, has anything vocal besides grunts, so you can't tell from talking or anything or names, so it's a little hard. The only thing that does differentiate them sometimes is each of the tribes wears different color, like browns or light brown or dark brown outfits, like a fur. And the movie is about this guy named, I want to say it's Bogue or Bog, and he looks like a hippie who just decided to show up on the set of this film and be the main lead. And he gets into a fight and gets injured. He escapes captivity, gets into a fight, I think, gets injured, and this woman with what looks like shit in her hair, Goldilocks, she helps him by rubbing plants on his injuries, and even though he's from an alternate tribe, they, I guess, hit it off, and then he ends up kind of like joining her tribe and going against, I think it's his old tribe, or maybe the people that captured him. That's where I'm kind of lost. And that's sort of the point of the movie. It's him and other people in the tribes warring. There's a whole symbolism about, you know, life and the circle of life, but it's not really, you know, spoken or put out there very well until the end. And there's a lot of fighting with a bear. And the bear, because it's such high quality, is, you could tell, wearing a muzzle. So they didn't want this bear to actually hurt people even though he was trained or bite them. So throughout the film the bear is wearing a muzzle. But he shoves the hell out of the cavemen and pushes them and stuff. So it's kind of cool. Then at points they like zoom in really far and you can't see the bear's face. And it's totally like a dude in a costume and they're just filming the back of his shoulder in a bear outfit. Very cheesy, very funny. And the other thing in the movie, two other things that are kind of amusing. There's a ton of this weird, mellow synth rock in the film that doesn't go along with the movie really. And what was the other thing I was saying? The synth rock, and there was something else I was going to mention. Oh, the bear, the synth rock. There's something else I can't recall, but the movie looks great. Oh, that's it. Throughout the film, you'll see like the cavemen looking at something, or they'll stop for a moment, and then they show inserts which don't look remastered, because the film is remastered in 4K, so it looks very good. Inserts of nature footage. So you'll see monkeys, emus, bears, whatever. I turned around to my wife at one point and I said, are all these animals even in the same place in the world anywhere? And she goes, I don't know, you'd have to look it up, but you know, like the caveman's looking at the monkey and the monkey's jumping and the caveman's getting angry, but the difference in quality is so vast that the caveman looks perfect and the monkey looks like this grainy, crappy video. It was very, very funny. So the movie, I definitely enjoyed it more this time, and I really tried to pay more attention to it. It's an hour and 45 minutes. It's too long. It should have been about an hour and 10, an hour and 20 max. There's too much dead space and things happening that are extremely hard to follow because nothing differentiates these characters. The story isn't moving along enough for you to be like, oh, this big major plot point happened. Just these little things keep happening, and you're like, what is going on? So my initial review was horrific for this film. I'm definitely popping it up a little bit more. It's still not a good movie. Is it as so bad it's good? Maybe if you're in the right mindset. I think that guy on eBay had the right idea. Have a couple drinks in you, watch the movie and kind of laugh and just get lost in this weird caveman exploitation film, and you may find some enjoyment out of it. It was okay. I may revisit it in the future. There's some interesting stuff. There's a couple scenes of gore with people getting their heads chopped off, their brains getting eaten, carrying around bear heads. There's this arching story of bears being like gods who are in the wilderness, and the humans are sort of following their notes or their keys, and killing them at points and wearing their heads or putting their heads as trophies to show how strong they are. So there's this overarching story about life and death, along with bears being symbolic as gods during caveman time. That's like the deepest it kind of goes. It was an interesting movie. My wife hated it. I don't know if I really want to give this a grade because it's not going to be a good grade. I think most people will not like it. It's slow and there's just too much crap happening with no payoff at those points. But overall it's interesting and it's a little different. So I kind of enjoyed it in a way. So let me know, guys, if you've seen Master of the World. This is, I think, the only time it's been released on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever. So it's, I guess, sort of important in this film's history. Thanks, guys, for watching. It's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. Be good.